What's the second one? I can see Aerofit. I can
Intervals.
see intervals.
Yep.
Okay. And then we've got OCG,
OCG and
React.
React.
Okay.
Right, we are live.
Okay, 40 seconds to go.
James
It's
saying,
hard to believe I've covered the last 3 events, run-ins of this race.
have you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. James is saying, remember, he's going to remember to smile. So you might get a few waves from James.
Okay.
Right, I'll take it down now.
Okay, welcome everybody to the 2023 run-in of the Tour de Monde. This is the 3rd edition of the race, and first up, stage 1 is an individual time trial. Now, we've already had the midnight running of this race, and at the moment, Doug Hart is leading the field with, let's have a look, at 27.47. So that's going to take some beating, folks. Let's see what happens. I'm really looking forward to this because this promises to be quite exciting. 5 seconds to go. Excuse me. And they're off. Okay, let's get towards the front of the race. It out. Just getting to the front now. We've got Roy Neild. He's in 2nd spot at the moment. I don't know how to pronounce this. Jay Choynair leading them out with 3.9 kilos. And we've got Wally Gower from Moon Riders now taking over in 2nd spot. Now, obviously, what we're going to do is we're going to stick near the front, but as the field does start to separate, we will work his way further back to try and give a shout out to some of the other riders. Vesper in 3rd place. I'm going to slowly work my way back here. We've got Rowbottom in 4th spot. Vivek in 5th spot. I think it's Tim Moss in 6th spot.
And Evan is in 7th.
Oystenson, expect him to be up near the front. Evan.
Yep.
He's
Evan.
one of my ex-teammates. And Roy Neild is from Moon Riders. He's currently now dropped back into 8th spot. I do expect this front group to much stay together. I think we'll see these leading riders. What gap have we got behind? We've got a group even behind Roy now. So, yeah, let's just quickly work his way back, Andy, and have a look and see where this group ends. We've got Newton just off the back of the top 10, so he's number 11. And then behind Newton, we've got Noah from Denmark. So that's the top 12. And then the 13th rider, Tristan, is a little bit further back. But we've got some riders coming up now past Tristan to try and close up the gap. So let's stay with these folks, Andy. Let's stay with Davidson and Phillips and see if they can close up on the group.
Yep.
And then in a few seconds, we'll go back to the front and see what's happening at the front. But I think this is going to be interesting to see whether this group can actually pull the gap back and catch up with Newton. So this is where the action is at the moment. Okay, let's work his way forward and see what's happening at the front of the race. So we've got 12 riders. I'm currently sitting
11th.
with rider number 10, as are you, yes. So we're both looking at the same view. We've got Evan just trying to close the gap, just off the back of the leading 6, and then behind Evan, who's that rider?
Paul.
Paul Newton.
Yep.
Of course. So Paul's trying to close up the gap to his teammate Evan in front, and he's bringing Moss and Noah with him. Let's work his way further forward. Let's see what's happening. So if you can just switch a rider forward for me. There we go. And we've got Rowbottom in 5th place. But it's very close. We've got 5 riders here, and there's only a few meters between them. We've got Wally Gora from Moon Riders. He's leading them out at the moment. He's got about a 10-meter gap on the 2nd place rider Vespa. And then you've got Rowbottom, Vivark. Now, if I'm pronouncing these names incorrectly, I do apologize. I'm doing my best. He's in 5th place. And they've got a 24-meter gap over the riders following behind. So we're going to stick with these. We'll stick with these 5 for the time being. Just see what happens. How far in are we? We're 3.4 kilometers in. So we've still got 16 kilometers. There's plenty of time here. It does look like Chenier is just dropping off the back. So we'll just move forward to have a look at the leading couple of riders. And Wally Gora has been caught by Vespa now, more or less, a few meters between them. This is the way that I actually saw this individual time trial playing out. I do think it's going to be a close affair. I don't see anyone ride me really pulling away. But it's early days yet. I mean, we're not even a quarter of the way into the event, so we'll see. I have to say that Wally Gora up at the front is looking strong, but Vespa is trying to. He's definitely trying to keep him within reach. Now, Rowbottom, I know this rider quite well from England. He's not going to let them get away either. We all know that Viveki is a very strong rider too, so I wouldn't expect there to be too much distance between these first handful of riders. Okay, let's work his way back down the field, Andy, and see what's happening. So we got Rowbottom in 3rd and Chenier in 4th, and then DeLoyne. Evan is now in 7th place. How far behind are we, Evan? Evan's about 30 meters off the rider in front. Now you can probably see that on screen. As we actually look at, there we go. We're doing the top-down view of Evan now. And you can actually see the gap that he can see. I know that Evan, I've ridden with him quite a bit when we were teammates, and he's the kind of rider that will pace his effort. He's very strong. He's the kind of rider that will definitely pace his effort. So I don't think he's out of it here. I think he could well end up pulling those right. In fact, I say that and he's doing exactly that. So he must be listening to me. He's actually closing up the gap now. He's got it down to about 30 meters. but he is closing in on the riders in front. And once he gets close to them, obviously there's no drafting in this individual time trial, so he's not getting any benefit other than the visual benefit that you get from closing up a gap. But let's leave Evan for the time being and let's move further back and have a look and see what's happening. I mean, we've got Newton, his teammate, just behind. Paul Newton, he's trying to close up as well. But then we've got Racing Roy Neal behind. Or Rocket Roy Neal, I think it is. Yes, it is. It's Rocket Roy Neal. And again, he's another 50 metres behind Paul Newton. So there's a decent gap between these three riders. And then behind Roy, we've got Tim Moss. Nice to see Tim. And then Noah is bringing up the space behind Tim. And he's just outside the top 10. Then we got Dobson in my old team colours. Team colours being Huddersfield Star Wheelers used to wear these colour jerseys.
Awesome.
Okay, and then we've got LeBlanc. He's catching Dobson in front.
Yep.
We've got one of our OTR boys, Barkley. So I think Kevin is the #1 OTR rider at the moment. I'm pretty sure of that. And then behind Kevin, we've got Rob Miller. Now, I'm surprised actually that Rob isn't a bit further closer to the front, but he's another rider that will certainly be pacing himself. And we do know how strong he is, that he's a very good finisher, is Rob. So, yeah, he's another rider I'd expect to gain a few places here. He's definitely not going to finish in 15th place.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Rob's really strong.
Okay, Neugebauer is just behind. Well, I'm saying just behind. He's 40 metres behind Rob. And then behind him, we've got Ploiter, the German. Not really, don't know much about that fellow. Tristan, I know a lot about Tristan. Doing a good ride here in 18th spot. Ozdemir, this is a rider which, but in some of the single day races. And there's James, my team captain. Nice to see James coming up the field. Hopefully he'll put in a strong ride and climb the field a little bit here. Currently in 19th spot is James. He's just taken that from Ozdemir. Although it looks like Ozdemir is using the visual clue of James to
get back.
To up his effort. Now behind him we've got Kudjowski. Now this is a surprise to me. Brasio Racer. I'm a little bit surprised that the very strong one-day racer, and in fact I've actually covered him in some of the previous tours as well. So he's a rider to look out for, I think, once we get into the climbs. And he's actually moving up into 20th place, so he's climbing the field. Okay, let's have a look. We've got Hansen in 22nd place, the Dane. He's another strong rider. We've got another Team 3R rider, Jan Strost. Then Davidson. Jessen. Dirty Dan. Dirty Dan's, isn't it? Yeah. Doyle. Sedlak and Slater riding together. As I say, there's no drafting, so there's no benefit other than the visual of getting on somebody's wheel. It does help you, I have to say. A visual guide like this can often just make you put in that extra bit of effort to stay with the riders around you. And that's what's actually happening here with these three. So let's move further back and see what we've got. We've got Ericsson in 30th place. He seems to be out on his own at the moment. Yes, he is. He's in the middle. And then we've got Paul Nichols from OTR. Now, Paul's an out-and-out climber, so expect Paul to sort of come to the fore more when we get into the mountain stages. And he'll definitely be a contender there. Individual time trial, I'm not convinced that this is his forte. Bellio following him, and then we've got Jackson. And can't think how to pronounce that. Gucci? Don't know. And then Phillips following behind. Biak, who incidentally are one of our sponsors today. Many thanks for sponsoring the event. And then we've got Maka, another OTR rider. Then Frey, another German, and his compatriot Gottman, very close on his wheel. 38th and 39th there. And then who have we got behind them? We've got Chris S. Yep, and we're watching Show at the moment, another German show. That's 41st place. Now, apologies to the riders further back, but we're going to get right to the front now if we can. So if you can switch right to the front of the pack, and we see that Vesper, the screen will catch up with me in a minute. There we go. We've got Vesper out in front by 53 meters. You can just see on screen, you can see, well, you will be able to, if Andy will zoom out for me or switch views so that we see behind, you can see Rowbottom he's got a 60-meter gap. This could be significant from Vesper. I think 60 meters. Yeah, Rowbottom though is a very, very strong finisher. But let's go to Rowbottom and have a look and see who's at with him. Wally Gora, who was originally in first place, but has now dropped into third place. If we can get that view, please, Andy. There we go. So we're looking at Wally Gora trying to close the gap on Rowbottom. And Rowbottom is more or less holding the gap on Vesper up front. Now those three are out. If we just drop back one rider to DeLoyne, you'll see that he's actually almost 200 meters. Well, in fact, and he's 195 meters behind Wally Gora. So he's out of it. The top three, I'm pretty confident, are going to stay the top three. I can't see him claim, although there's still 8 kilometers to go, he's not going to close 200 meters in that 8 kilometers. I'm pretty confident of that. So let's go back to the front and have a look and see what's happening, because this is pretty exciting. Vesper does look like he's maintaining his 60 meters, but it's not growing. So this could well change. And in fact, it is changing very, very slightly. He's more or less maintaining a 57 to 60 meter gap on Rowbottom. And then Rowbottom is only 20 meters in front of Wally Gora. So this is where the race is going to be decided between these three. And there's enough time for these positions to change around. Like I say, I know Rowbottom quite well, and I do know that he'll be measuring his effort, and he's a very strong finisher, so don't count him out. But we also know that Vesper is a strong finisher, so anything could happen here. And Wally Gora is definitely not out of it. Okay, 7.7 kilometers to go. Let's have a look and see what's happening in the top 10. So let's go back to the fourth place rider. And that's still Deloying, but he's 90 odd meters in front of the fifth place rider. So if we just flick backwards, we can see the fifth place rider. I don't see Choinier closing that gap either. So I think fourth and fifth are going to stay as is. However, we've got Paul Newton in sixth place and we've got Viveki in seventh, very close together. And they're actually chasing the riders in front. Now, this could well change around between these two, and also they could end up catching with Paul Newton just in front of him, and Paul could actually catch the rider in front, which is Choinier. Okay, let's have a look and see who's in 8th, 9th and 10th. So if we just work his way backwards, we've got Rocket Roy Neild in 8th place, the Moonriders rider. So he's just behind in 8th place. And then we've got Evan Oystensen in 9th place. And then our own Kevin Barclay from OTR. Now he's really doing a good ride here because he was well out of the top 10. He's now climbed up into the top 10. And if we just have a look at who's in front of him, Evan, he could actually end up catching Evan. So this is going to be an interesting race further down the field, which we're going to come back to. But I'm not going to go down past the top 10 at the moment because excitement is going to be hotting up near the front. And what we're going to do now is we're going to work his way back forwards and have a look and see what's happening at the placings. So we'll move his way forward to Kevin Barclay in 10th place, and then up to, hang on a minute, up to Evan, and then up to Rocket Roy Neild, the Moon Riders. And then we've got Vivek. Now Vivek is pulling out a decent gap here. He's got 140 meters now on Rocket Roy, so that's not going to get closed. I'm pretty confident there that that is not going to get closed. So let's switch from Vivek and have a look and see how far behind he is. He's only 30 meters behind Paul Newton. So that is definitely closable with 6 kilometers. But look at Paul. Paul is reeling in. Go forward, please, Andy. Let's watch this. Paul is reeling in Choinier. What a ride from Paul Newton. I love to see this because this is my old team, Team 3R or Race 3R. And I love to see the guys doing well. I'm not biased, of course. I have my own team OTR, but it is nice to see them doing so well. And they're matching or trying to match each other's pace, but Paul's putting in a spurt now. Now, the thing to do when there's nobody is to try and put in a spurt like Paul is doing, because that will demoralize the rider behind if you can get a gap. Because if there's no drafting, so if he gets on your wheel, look how hard Choinier is working now to try and catch the wheel of Paul. And catching the wheel isn't going to be any benefit to him at all because there's no drafting. So it's important that Paul keeps it going, because the rider behind trying to catch will get demoralized if he catches up and then Paul pulls ahead again. Or if he doesn't catch up, he will fall further behind. It's a lot of it's in the head. It's not just about leg power and what's put out. A lot of this is in the head. And many riders can handle it, some riders don't. But Paul is doing exactly the right tactics here. Anyway, let's move forward. Let's move forward to Paul and then to the rider in front of Paul and see how far ahead he is. Okay, so 85 meters to Deloyne. That's how much the gap is between Paul Newton and Deloyne. That's not going to get closed in this 4.8 kilometers, I don't think. Although Paul is looking strong, he's got him in his sights. So never say never here. Let's move further forward and see what's happening with the top three. Wow. So we've got Rowbottom and Walligora riding together. Now, as I say, there's no drafting. This is purely, they'll be watching each other, they'll be measuring their effort with each other. They've got Vesper, who has now pulled out a gap of 100 meters. So he's actually pulled out the gap. Remember, it was 60 when we were last looked. So Vesper, who we'll have a quick look at now, out front, he's now pulled out 100 meters. He's not going to get caught. I said that when he was 60 meters in front. He's not going to get caught. There was a chance they could have pulled back the 60 meters, but he's actually increased that and he's not going to get caught now. So the race now is on for second place, and I think what we'll do, Andy, is let's stick with second place for the time being and watch to see whether one of these riders. Now, remember what I said when we were watching Paul Newton. The key here for Rowbottom is to try and pull open a gap, a visual gap to the rider behind. And this can be quite demoralizing. Now, one tactic that when I was in my prime and I used to be able to do these kind of events, one tactic that I would do is I would actually let the rider catch me. So I would just ease off slightly, let the rider catch me, and then I would spurt and go away again. And the constant doing that, constantly letting the rider just close up enough, not enough to get alongside me, but just close up enough, and then open the gap again. And doing that 2 or 3 times, you're going to completely demoralize your opponent. But Mark is actually doing it the opposite way around. He's maintaining his gap, and in fact he's very, very slowly growing it. It's out to 25 meters now, 26. So he's growing the gap, and it does look like he's going to get that second spot. We've got 2.67 meters to go, so he's into the home straight. I think he's got his second spot here. Let's just go back to the front and have a quick look at Vesper, because he's dropped some meters. So Vesper has actually dropped now to 80 meters in front, but I think he's pacing himself. I just looking at him here, looking at his watt kilos, he seems comfortable. He's just over the 4 watt kilos, sometimes going up to about just below the 5. So I think he's tempering his effort here. He's not going full gas. Of the 2 riders, I would say that Rowbottom is working the harder in terms of watt kilo output. But he's not going to get up to the 2 kilometer mark. Let's go back to second spot. And you can see the gap on the road now. It's 60 odd meters. Now that is closable. Certainly within the last kilometre, that is closable if you really put the gas down. So we'll stick with these 2 riders at the moment, because it'll be interesting to see whether Mark can actually pull this back.
He's starting to, isn't he?
He's definitely trying to, Andy. Yeah, this is looking quite. In fact, look, it's coming down.
Yep.
Very, very slowly, but it is coming down. But this fellow is a class act. Trust me on that. Especially on the what can I say? The more on the steep climbs, I don't expect him to be competing with the best. But on these kind of rides, I really think he's in his element. But Vesper is putting in a superb ride, you know, because he's pulled out a couple more meters.
Yep.
We're just coming up to the, I hope there's a red kite. Can we go to the front, see whether we can catch? No, it doesn't look like there's a red kite.
No.
So they're just past the 1 kilometre to go. That's a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have seen a red kite. Okay, we're going to move forward and watch Vesper. Well, we're on Vesper now. So we're watching Vespa, we're watching go over the line. I don't see Robotham catching him. In fact, he's putting in big watts now. He's over the 5 watt kilos, pushing it. He's putting in a real effort here to make sure that he doesn't get caught. It's a very, very good ride from Vespa. Full credit to the lad. It's never easy when you do take, excuse me, it's never easy when you do take an early lead because you're always then a marked man. But he's done well. He waited until the last third of the race, took over the lead, and to be fair, he's been amazing. He's not really looked like relinquishing it, although we did think that going over the line. What a fantastic win. Robotham takes second. Can we go to second place, please? And now third place. Let's see how far behind. There we go. That was close for third place. Move down to fourth, please. Keep moving back down through the field as they cross the line.
Okay.
Now,
Will do.
please, Andy. Wow, what a good ride. So who have we got now to come in? We got, is this DeLoyne on screen? I think it is.
It is. And then you got Paul behind.
Oh, Paul Newton is trying to catch him. If you can switch to that view, just very quickly. Paul Newton is going to catch him. He's going to catch him. Is he in time?
Come on.
Can he take him on the line?
Yes.
Can he get him on the line? Yes, he's going to get him on the line.
Yes.
Is he going to get him?
He
Just
does.
on the line.
Excellent.
Fourth place for Paul Newton. Okay, back to Chonier. He's going to get sixth place. What a fantastic ride from Paul Newton. Sorry, I'm getting excited, folks. That was exciting. That's what we come for. What a race. Okay, Viverki is coming in just behind. And then we've got Kevin Barclay, our own, just crossing the line. Evan Oystenson just behind Kevin. And then two riders together, Rocket Roy and Dobson. Tim Moss from Southern District Wheelers coming in. Neugebauer from Peddlers. Robert Miller. Ploiter coming in. And then we've got a bit of a gap then to, is it Jens Hansen?
Yep.
From Denmark. Although he's got the line in sight now. A few more meters. So 16th place for Yen. And then we've got LeBlanc from KOS coming in 17th spot. And another 3 hour spot. James Ogilvie comes in 19th spot. We're just watching him cross the line now. Well done, James. Krajowski has got up to 20th spot. Noah, the Dane, in 21st. Jessen, another Dane, coming in 22nd place. And then we got Tristan coming up to the line now. So this is 23rd spot, folks. I'm going to try and stay with the action. Are we going to get them all, Andy? I think it would be nice to do so. We've got Bellio from OTR. Now, why is he wearing a different jersey? But there's Bellio.
Dirty Dan.
Dirty Dan. Takes 25th spot. Sedlak. Now, I think this is our first lady. I think, is it Denise? I think it's Denise Doyle. If I do get names wrong, folks, I do apologise. But I think this is Denise Doyle. And she's the first female home in 27th spot. Great ride, lady.
Super.
Slater coming in 28th spot. Ozdemir. This is the rider that I mentioned earlier in 29th. Gugi, 30th. And then we got a couple of riders together. We've got Phillips and Jackson. And Stewart just screams past them on the line. What a ride. And here's our own Paul Nichols. Now, as I say, Paul's in 34th spot now, but you watch him go when we get to the mountain stages. He'll be one of the contenders there. I don't think flat is his thing. Ericsson coming in 35th spot. Chris S. Reuter, I think that's another, in fact it is, that's another female. Craig just gone over the line, Macca just gone over the line, the OTR rider, Strutt just coming up to the line. Davidson, just outside the top 40, wearing the GBR jersey. Gottman, the German, well done, Gottman. Morgan from RTR.
Yeah, Glenn. He's the captain.
Okay, Morgan just about to cross the line now. And then we got Bailey from Moonriders. Now, move heavily as we get further into the race. Roberge from Canada. MBL. Excuse me. Well, considering how poorly I feel, I think I've struggled through this broadcast quite well, folks. Not been too much coughing. I've really enjoyed this though, as MBL crosses the line for us in 46th spot. Now we got the Belgian Wazik. How many riders have we got, Andy?
Hard to say now. Probably about another 14.
Okay, Wazik just crossed the line, so we got Bunting, the Englishman, line now. And then we got another OTR rider,
Shane.
Stuart Blackmore.
Yeah.
Nice to see Stuart.
Shane.
Well done, sir. Quickly followed by Come Span. Now this is a rider. I really expected Herrero to be further up the field. To see this fellow when we get into the climbing stages, but to see him so far down the field, a bit of a surprise to me. If it's the same Herrero that I've covered in previous events anyway, and I think it is, the Spaniard. So yeah, this is a bit of a surprise to me. What I'm looking forward to is once we get into the real heavy hitting stages, I'm pretty familiar with most of the riders that will be in contention. So I will be able to give you, and because there'll be more time to do so, I will be able to give you some figures on those riders. So Herrero coming across the line in 51st spot. 51st spot. And then we got Kesu. Now this is another lady. I think have we had 3 ladies so far? I think we have.
Yes.
So I think Kesu is bringing up the bronze medal for the ladies. And don't forget, folks, there is an individual competition for the ladies as well. So we'll be following that as we get further into the event. As we watch Kesu just going over the line. Okay, Kazan, compatriot, another American. 900 meters to go. Just to mention, folks, that I'm going to try and commentate on whichever events they'll have me for. Probably be doing quite a few. But we've also got a fellow by the name of Dave Morrison, and he'll be coming back. He's been a little quiet of late, but he'll be coming back and doing some commentary as well. So I'll have a chat with Dave and find out which ones he wants to cover. And then between the two of us, or there might be a few more joining in, but certainly between me and Dave, we'll try and ensure that we get all the events covered. That's providing I can stop this cold moving onto my chest. Okay, Kazan. And then guess who's following behind Kazan? You can't, folks. It's a bit of a cheat, actually. So Kazan crosses the line, and then you've got my bot just coming over the line. Now, just to note, folks, that that's me crossing the line, but I'm not riding, obviously, not well enough, nowhere near. So I'm going to stay with Andy's. Who have we got here? I can't actually see these riders now, so.
Ramirez.
Ramirez, okay. You'll have to call the names for me, Andy, because I've come over the line. I no longer have have the views.
Yep.
Few riders now, folks. So we'll stick with it. 600 meters for Ramirez to go, and we'll bring everyone. In fact, I can see the names on screen, so I will be able to call the names.
Super.
How many have we got left? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we've got 4 more riders left. Because, like me, I don't think a rider by the name of Andy Widders is actually taking part.
No.
We'd like to, though. I certainly would have liked to have taken part, but I'm just off the back of a serious illness and I'm nowhere near in a fit state. Next year, maybe. And while I'm talking about next year, for those of you that know me, this will be my 3rd year covering this event. So it's OTR's premier event of the season, the Tour de Monde, as we watch Ramirez just going over the line. Okay, now we've got a bit of a wait, folks, so I can have a chat with you. No, not too much of a wait. What we got? 1.5 kilometers. And this is Liendo. Got up next is, I haven't got the handbook handy, but I believe stage 2 is the first of the hilly stages. I don't think it's an out and out mountain stage. I think it's one of the more hilly stages. So we're going to definitely see a different kind of winner when we get into the hills and mountains. But I don't think we're going to see the real uh, big hitters until we get into the mountain proper. Now, I think that's stage three. I think stage three is the first of the mountain stages. Andy, can you confirm that?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think I'm right
Yeah.
there. I'm pretty sure I saw from the handbook that I looked at earlier that it was stage three, the first mountain stage. And I'm, um, as I say, Andy, we'll have a word with Dave Morrison and see which events he wants to cover
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be really good.
as commentator, and then we'll work something out between us. Have you got anybody else lined up?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if there's just me and Dave, it will make it a little bit easier in terms of providing we can cover every stage between
Yeah, I think we've got a spreadsheet. We
us.
can go
Okay.
back to Messenger and have a chat with others.
Yeah. With me not being very well this last, certainly over the Christmas, just haven't brought myself up to speed. I haven't been able to follow the forums. I only just opened the manual this morning, so I haven't had time to bring myself up to speed with what's going on. I will do so now that I've covered this first event, and as I say, I will speak with Dave.
Yeah, so stage three is Botany Bay, which is 45, 46 kilometers. And you've got a
It's a long
200-meter drop and then a 107-meter climb at the end.
Okay,
So that'd be quite nice.
that will sort of feel fun. But as I say, by the time I'm commentating on the next event, I'll have brought myself up to speed. So we'll see what happens. As we watch Leendo now approaching the line, and the next rider behind Leendo is only about 80 meters behind, even less now. So
Catching
we're
up.
going to get two riders coming in close proximity, and then we've just got two more following on behind. One of the things which I used to do with Damon, when there we go, we got both
Yep.
over the line just behind. Sorry, Ariza came over the line just behind. So now we've got Klugworks on the road. He's got 1.4 kilometers to do, and then the last rider on the road is Kilgore. We'll catch up with him shortly, and he's got 2 kilometers. So we're going to be finishing about 5 or 6 minutes. It is one of the features of my commentary and certainly OTR do the streaming. We almost always used to try and cover every rider coming in because our feeling was that, if these riders can stick it out when finishing, in some cases up to 30 minutes on the longer stages, up to 30 minutes behind the leaders, if they can stick it out, then we should stick it out as commentators and streamers. So thank you very much, Andy, for doing that with me.
It's a pleasure. It's nice to be able to work with you.
Yeah, it's a good partnership. And I have to say the quality of your streams, I was looking at, I played back the one I commentated on the other day, and the quality of the stream is beautiful. So as I say, folks, we've got this fellow about 850 meters to go, and then we've got a further 2 kilometers for the next rider. So 5 minutes, give or take. and then we'll wrap up the broadcast and see you all again tomorrow. Now, one of the things that um, I might try and do, and it's certainly what I did on the two previous events of Tour du Monde, editions, not events, editions of Tour du Monde. I might try and drop in on some of the other runnings of the races, like shall we say the midnight one. If I'm awake with the kids and I get the chance, then I will do that later on in the series. I don't expect Andy to wake up at midnight and work with me, but I can always do it solo. So the last two riders are both Americans. We've got Klugworks here with what we got 300 meters left coming in, and then we've got Kilgore, another American, fair way behind him, I have to say. It does look like he's struggling. And in fact, it looks like he might have stopped. Oh, I'm not sure. We'll find out. We've got. We're just going to watch Klugworks come over the line here, and then we'll ship down to the last rider, which is rider number 59. So once we watch this fellow go over the line, and well done for finishing. As I say, it must be difficult being, so far off the leaders, but still having the courage to turn the pedals. Okay, can we have a look and see if we can pick up this? Ah, that's why this fellow's hand cyclist, folks. Is it hand cyclist? Oh no, recumbent. A recumbent cyclist, the one and only, and he's putting out decent kilos. This is a new feature with RGT that they brought in this year. Sorry, last year, at the end of last year. And I think it's a very welcome addition. I really do. This is pretty special, isn't it, Andy?
It is. It's incredible. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, I really like the way that RGT has reached out, particularly to the how can I put this diplomatically? The lesser shown cyclists, shall we say? Like the recumbents, like the hand cyclists, like and in competition as well, we're now seeing better prizes for the ladies as well as the men.
Yeah.
Which in the past was difficult to do because we had so few, but now that we're seeing more and more ladies come onto the platform, and certainly more and more ladies racing, it's really adding to what I think is a top platform, and it's good to see. I think we should not exclude, include everybody. It doesn't matter what kind of cyclist you are. Everybody should have a chance at taking part, and this lad's proven it. I think this is fantastic from Kilgore.
Yep.
And to boot, he's a teammate, so what more can I say? OTR. I actually think I saw James welcoming him to the team the other day on the forum. So, yeah, I don't think he's been a member very long.
Okay. Maybe you'll join OTR Eureka, which is the US
That would
team.
be good, wouldn't it? That'd be nice to see.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure James will have a word with him, and after this performance now, because this is stellar. This is just as nice to see as the leader taking the win. For me, it is anyway. Superb. I just wish there was more. I wish there was more doing this.
Yep.
Maybe there will be. Maybe in some of the other races, we might see a couple more dropping in. You know, once people watch this. So 250 meters to go, and he's putting in a good effort here. Look at his watt kilos.
Yeah, he's going up.
Going red. He's going red there. I mean, his watt kilos isn't going to be anything near what the what the leaders are doing, but this is good. This is a very, very good effort coming into the line.
And he didn't give up.
Well done, Kilgore. Amazing ride. Well done.
Yep.
Superb ride.
Awesome.
Okay, shall we wrap it up there, Andy?
Yep.
Thank you very much, everybody, if you've stuck with us till the end. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
And bye for now.
Cheers, Derek.